Alright, hey guys. One question I got from the Gorkamorka battle reports is, what the fuck is Gorkamorka? Not really in those terms, but it's one of those days, one of those moods. Anyway, I don't really care. But, alright, so what is Gorkamorka, right? Gorkamorka is actually a game from, like, around 1997 in which you control a band of orcs. Mainly orcs. They came out with other not codexes, but another set of rules. So here's the rules. As you can see right here, the other book and the rules. Another set of rules where you could play different types of mobs. What happened is a giant space Hulk that was infested with orcs crash landed on a planet on the outer rim called Angeles. Haha, kind of like Los Angeles. Kind of like, you know, Escape from LA or Escape from New York. Post-apocalyptic type game, kind of like Mad Max-ish. If you cram those all together and throw some orcs in there, that's pretty much what the game is. So they crash landed, and after a toxic fume engulfed the planet, everything died, and it's a desert planet. The orcs finally emerged, not knowing what to do. This is generations afterwards. So they all come out, they all do orky stuff, which is build weird mechanical things and forts and beat each other up and whatnot. And within the DNA code of all orcs, there is the ability to build things out of crap and other scrap. So the main deal is scrap / crap. You want to collect these. That's the main goal of the game. Collecting scrap with your warband. This is a smaller scale version of, let's say, 40K. So yes, this was a GW product, a Games Workshop product, a long time ago, a specialty game. That's why a lot of people don't know about it and haven't heard about it. Small scale version. So like a warband can probably consist of what you see here. I mean, the game box comes with 2 trucks, it's 6 guys for each side and a track. Some equipment like terrain like this fort, some scrap, counters, here's some counters, and some special dice. Since this is a small scale version, of course, everything was tuned for the character themselves. So everything became precious because, again, it's post-apocalyptic, and really there's no mass producing of anything in this game. So the game terms are pretty much similar to 40K. There's movement, shooting, combat, and then there's like a recovery phase, of course, which they add. For the small scale version of the game, the recovery phase is important because just because you shoot an orc and he's down doesn't mean it's dead. As you can see, they have weird bases, and I'll get to that in a few seconds. Just because he's down doesn't mean he's out. That is why you can play with small war bands, and you can play campaigns really fast. Alright, so you can see right here some special maneuvers. In the movement phase, you could do things back in the day, like, here's just the running template because you can't do anything when you run. Doubles your movement. Here's the hide. I mean, it's an orc thing, you don't really hide, but they have it anyway. This is Overwatch, if all those people remember Overwatch. Yes, Overwatch was in this. Overwatch, if you don't remember, you probably won't if you're newer to the game, or young, is I sacrifice my movement and everything I do to go on Overwatch. On the opponent's turn, if he starts to move, this guy can shoot him on Overwatch. So yes, you can put everyone on Overwatch and sit there, and on the opponent's turn, just shoot them all. Alright, so that's Overwatch. So they had like weird things like this back in the day. Here are the dice for this, by the way. So like machine guns don't have like roll like 5 dice, like heavy 3 or something like that. This is their gun. This is like 1 through 3 with a jam in there because weapons are so scarce and hard to make that they're very unreliable. Not everything had like sustained fire dice. Mostly the heavy weapons that were mounted on guns could do it. Most of these guns couldn't really do it. So one of the main things about this game was the campaign mode. Campaign where you get a bunch of buddies and you do stuff. I'd say this is the 40, well, not really 40K version, I guess. It's the orc version of Necromunda. Look that up. Same thing though. You can buy things like, see, it's got like teeth and stuff. You buy weaponry. Basically, two people come together. They make a roster with 100 teeth. T-E-E-F, teeth. Basically orc teeth. They punch each other, they grab their teeth and whatnot. Just like in the Orc Codex. You build your war band starting off with 100 teeth. So let's say like this boy might cost like 4 or something teeth. Then you gotta arm them, right? And whatnot. So you make your roster. Trucks cost a certain amount as well, and then you go at it. And in campaign mode, orcs might go down, and you have to see an injury table to see what happened to him. He might die outright. He might get captured and whatnot. So that was the fun of it. You know, you don't know exactly what happened, and not everything dies. But it's rare when they die, and it's awesome when they die. But coming back to the bases, look at these bases, right? They're kind of like peanuts or something. They did this so you could actually put your dudes on these, because every warband has to have vehicles to trek them across the desert. So you can see right here, for a successful roster, you must be able to transport your characters onto the battlefield, or else it's an illegal list. So like, let's say this is the game board, you have to start off like this. You have to start off with the warband in the vehicle. This is how they arrive. They can't trek across the desert or else they die. So that was kind of one of the cool things too. You know, there are certain rules and whatnot. But it was very like post-apocalyptic game. Mainly revolving around different types of scrap. They don't have to be like barrels or anything. You can represent them in any way you want. But the whole main idea is to get your dude to grab some scrap, run off any sideboard if you wanted to, bring him back to the bandwagon if you wanted to, drive off with scrap, while killing your opponent in the same time. How fun is that? Orc style, right? So that's Gorkamorka, kind of in a nutshell. It's actually a classic game. A lot of people actually still look for it or like it and whatnot. There are forums and whatnot, still people looking for it. But this is all you really need. I mean, these rulebooks are actually on the GW website. You can print them out. So, you know, like me showing you shouldn't be illegal or anything like that, because you can just print them off PDF form and whatnot. The harder stuff is like the add-on, which is the Dig-a-Knob book. The Dig-a-Knob book consisted of special characters, which you couldn't buy. Special characters was a special character roll to see if he like stumbled across the battlefield and whatnot to do special stuff. Again, just more money that GW really wanted, so they made up some weird rules. But also in the Dig-a-Knob rulebook, what they had was humans pretending to be orcs, because again, this is like supposed to be like generations. They're supposed to be hiding in the space orc, or the space Hulk, for like generations, centuries even. So like they totally forget why they're there. So probably a bunch of, maybe like 500 years, I don't know. It says centuries. So like, you know, generations pass, they don't remember why they're there when they come out. Same with the humans. The human side of it is where they were actually excavating, and then the space call crashed, they had to hide, and generations pass, they totally forget why they're there, and the orcs come out and start enslaving them. And so they go, okay, these guys are strong, we'll be like them, and we'll do what they do. Also in the Dig-a-Knob rulebook, you have mutants, which are called muties, which were just, you know, they don't really have a background. They're probably just humans or orcs that got mutated in the process of forming of the world Angelus. Then you have the rebel grots, because these guys can have grots too. They're kind of crappy when you bring them into a war band of orcs, but as an army themselves, they can be good because they outnumber. But they have some, you know, downfalls because they run out of ammo quicker and whatnot, which was kind of cool too. When I form a rebel grots list myself. So what else? Yeah, that was pretty much what was in the Dig-a-Knob rulebook. But for all of you that don't know, Gorkamorka was actually the first sighting ever in GW of Necrons. I don't know if I have the page for you, but all the fluff in this point to, and some of the stories point to metal creatures and whatnot, but this was the first sightings of Necrons before they actually became an army. And actually a few a few white dwarfs after Gorkamorka came out, they actually started doing Necrons. You can see right here in this photo, we have a Necron head actually in this pile. So that's actually a little fun fact for you as well. Again, another cool rule, sorry I don't have like a script or anything that I'm following, I'm just kind of telling you what it is the ammo roll. So not only do they suck at shooting because they're orcs, they're good in hand-to-hand combat of course, but you can run out of ammo, which is really cool and really realistic for a post-apocalyptic, because just because you got a cool warband doesn't mean you're going to do good. Not only because you might miss and because a roll might fumble, but you can run out of ammo. So like just because she's shooting a lot and you can equip him with multiple guns, you could run out of ammo. And I think if you look at the battle reports in mine, there's a game where like I think all our guys ran out of ammo at one point and we were just fighting to get the scrap. Alright, so that's Necromunda. Here's some peanut bases again. I know everyone that doesn't know what Gorkamorka was, they're kind of very confused, but this is it. This is the game. I mean, a lot of people still play it, but they get like orcs, like common orcs right now to make their list, and they'll customize the bases or customize the orc trucks they have now to have bigger platforms, bigger loading bays, loading whatever they're called. So like, you know, you see like big trays so you can hold all the orcs, because again you have to represent your orc army being driven onto the battlefield. Of course you don't have to have one truck, this is just representing it, but you know, you'll have like a fleet of trucks maybe and whatnot. Gorkamorka, maybe I don't explain it so well, but whatever, look it up. Good game. I'll probably have some more battle reports as well coming for you, and then I'll in some of those battle reports I'll probably explain to you step by step what goes on in Gorkamorka. It's Gorkamorka.